Hello, welcome to my channel, Wing Spiritual Clarity. My name's Wendy Wang. I'm doing a psychic tarot reading for you, tuning in to the day's energies, seeing what divine messages of guidance come through. This is a general reading, so take what resonates and leave the rest. Interesting. All right. The overall energy of today's reading is the moon in reverse. Let's start with the moon upright. This feels like hidden emotions, things that have been hidden to your consciousness. So energy, beliefs that have been hidden in your unconscious, subconscious, unconscious, something you're unaware of. Hidden emotions as well. So in reverse, it feels like things are coming to the surface to be felt, to be seen, coming from the unconscious into your awareness, out of the darkness and into the light. All right. So what is it? What's coming to light? What's coming from the unconscious to be perceived, to be seen? Two of Pentacles reversed, Three of Swords, Chariot reversed. Something's coming to the light that's been hidden. Three of Swords. Okay, some type of betrayal. Someone was masked and juggling. Feels like their mask is coming off. There's triangulation here, betrayal. Feels like something's coming to your awareness, why you've been so stuck, unable to make moves, move on. Something is being revealed. It feels specific to, like, you are becoming aware of this, something that's coming from your unconscious. You're willing to see, or the timing is right for you to see this. Tell me more about this Two of Pentacles reverse, Three of Swords person. Who is this that the viewer is perceiving clearly? Feels like someone you might have put on a pedestal. Someone you really couldn't see or allow yourself to see fully. Looks like you projected some idealized version of who you needed them to be. Not who they are, but their potential, who you envisioned who they are. It's like you projected this onto somebody who was taking advantage of you, that activity. And while you were busy projecting your idealized version of who they are onto them, that allowed them a front, a cover to play you, to juggle you, because they'll just tell you what you want to hear and you'll be in agreement with that projection. You're not really seeing the betrayal. I'm getting, okay. Yeah, so with the Six of Cups in reverse, actually they're coming out this way. This is one of my favorite cards in the deck. Really helps explain. This person, it feels like this is you and this is the other person that I'm talking about. And it's like you're trying to explain that you're miserable, that you don't like being in the cold water. And this person is just like, what's wrong with you that you're not happy? Why are you always making... It feels like you're unhappy with this person. This definitely reeks of, smells like relationship a type of relationship, a romantic relationship. Someone who is taking advantage of some unhealed childhood wounds that you have that kept you kind of a little unconscious, not really seeing things, seeing what you want to see, because you are unhealed in your wounds. And instead of being a partner that wants to see you heal, they took advantage of your woundedness, of being able to tell you what you want to hear, and you're not going to look any further. You're not going to dig and hold this person accountable. It feels like they can juggle you. They can tell you what you want to hear. What they were doing is getting you to focus your time, your attention, your labor on them. This person wants you to have nothing else in your life but focus your attention on them. And it feels like you acquiesce to that. Like, just, it feels like the longer you're in this relationship, the more you have to let go of everyone and everything to focus, to try to fix this relationship, to try to get this person to care about you. Kind of got lost in the sauce here. For some of you, this was a marriage. It feels cold. Because there's all this manipulation going on here. And a lack of truth, a lack of healing, a lot that's been hidden. But with the moon reverse, it's coming to light. We've also got the, oh, okay. We've a lot of court cards coming up. So we've got the Queen and King of Swords and the King of Cups, all with their back turned, which is interesting. And some type of broken contract. There's some type of lying, cheating, stealing. Not liking this. Lying, cheating, stealing with the Three of Swords as well. Heartbreak. I'm also getting to say less. Be tactical. There's a need to be tactical. Let's see if we can get a little closer. Who's the Queen of Swords? How can the viewer identify who the Queen of Swords is? Okay, this feels like this could be your energy. Head in the clouds, delusional. It's in reverse. So it looks like you're getting out of daydreaming, out of the moon energy, out of the unconscious, like, I guess it's all going fine. You're out of that type of energy. No more head in the clouds. No more delusions. No more banking a relationship on your hopes and dreams. Feels like you're bringing some inner discernment to this situation. And with vacay, it feels like this has just really been wearing on you. It feels like you're wanting to escape this whole relationship. It feels exhausting. All right. Who's the King of Swords? How does the viewer recognize who the King of Swords with their back turned is? Partially, I'm seeing, like, once you get this inner discernment and clarity within you, Queen of Swords, feels like once you see something, you can't unring that bell. Once you see the delusion, once you see that What you've been doing in this relationship is projecting an idealized version and not really seeing the truth. It looks like then it can embody the masculine form, King of Swords, and start taking action. Start cutting people out. Start taking action. Who's allowed to stay? Who needs to go? Yeah. Hopeful. Yeah, I agree. So the King of Swords has this very hopeful energy, inspired, optimistic, successful. And with stagnant reversed, no longer stuck, no longer in a dead end, no longer frozen. It's taking action. So with the Queen of Swords, there's an inner discernment. Oh, this is not what I thought it was. All right, to get myself out of this, I need to take actions. I need to make different choices. If I don't like this and nothing has changed, it's not going to change. It's not that if I just waited a few more weeks, then this person would wake up and can be a completely different person, hear me, understand me. No. I think there's that hope, that perpetual hope that you have that maybe, that's what's keeping you stuck. It looks like when you start making your own decisions instead of waiting on this person. I was asking what the Hierophant in reverse is coming out, and I got a military reverse and a rich girl. Some type of broken contract. This could be ending a marriage. There's no gift. Living room. I'm not getting any clarity. Those cards might help you, viewer, make sense of that. To me, that feels like maybe there's a decision here to end a marriage, end a relationship, some type of contract that has you connected and with this person. You're not a two-faced person. You're not wanting a double life. You're not wanting to be cheater or backstabber. What you're wanting is emotional growth, emotional maturity, and this person is just stunted. It feels like they have taken advantage of you, your unhealed wounds from childhood. They've just stepped in and started running your wounds. You project an idealized projection onto this person, put them up on a pedestal. They can do no wrong. And all your attention is focused on them. So you've kind of lost yourself in this relationship. And while you're losing yourself and a bit delusional, not really seeing things clearly, this person is creating a double life. Feels like they're cheating, backstabbing, creating third parties. If it isn't a fair partner, and you're not going to be hearing it here, I do not want to feed anyone's delusions. You would know this. You're not hearing it. Well, I've always wondered, and now you're validating. No, that's not what this is. This is for someone who knows. Definitely third party type of, I feel like you have been giving everything, your full attention to this person, and they don't treat you, they put you last. It looks like they put everybody else in front of you. Whew. All right. Holy cow. That's still that's the overall energy. All right. So the hidden blessing is the Seven of Swords. Keeping your own counsel. Say less. Once you recognize that this person is who they are, Once you allow yourself to be more conscious, to bring what's been uncomfortable to perceive into the light of consciousness, your awareness. There's this desire to tell this person, I see you, but what I'm getting is you need to keep your own counsel. You need to say less. This person is not on your side. You are late to the party. There's been a lot going on behind the scenes, and you're just waking up to it. So say less. Getting out of that projecting and helping and uplifting, and start seeing who they really are. Start clocking instead of fixing and projecting. Start really being present, listening to what they say, seeing how they move. That feels important. Also, in the Seven of Swords, this person is going to the enemy's encampment and stealing the swords. This person is not your friend. Even if they have full access to you, I think you're realizing that this is not the activity of a friend, of someone who cares about you. This is someone who's been manipulating you. And so to keep your counsel, Six of Swords, to see, to perceive, to clock, and then start making moves without this person. They do not have your best interest. They have their best interest. So say less. Don't let them know that you got them. I think your ego might really want to have a victory here, but what I'm getting is there's a need to be tactical. Say less. Clock this person. Learn from your mistakes. Less access to you denied. Learn as you go. Beautiful. Love that advice. Anything else? I think it's going to be a challenge because you've got a lot of belief systems and habit of carrying this person's burdens, of uplifting this person. So it will be a journey, a challenge to let go of this relationship, let go of what you've been waiting for this relationship that it never got to, and who this person you thought that they were going to become. Instead of waiting, instead of chasing that carrot, let go of this burden, let go of that activity. You have to talk yourself out of this obsession, this addiction. This has taken a long time. This person has taken advantage of your unhealed wounds from childhood, your insecurities, to keep you focused on an idealized version, and that's not real. Moon reversed. There's a lot that's been hidden. And so while you're discovering and seeing what the landscape is, keep things to yourself. All right. What you're leaving behind is Three of Cups. Family, celebration. I don't know. This might be a projection that everything's good and you're celebrated and cared for. It feels like, yeah. With Five of Cups in reverse and Three of Pentacles in reverse, I think what you're seeing when you see family, but I have this family. I can't leave my family behind, or I can't leave this. The environment, if this is your reading, they don't care about you. They don't work with you. They don't uplift you. You uplift them. it doesn't feel like there's reciprocity here. It doesn't feel like people care about you. You might have this, well, it is what it is. It's how could I leave someplace I guess you have to figure that out, if that's real, if that's a real picture, or if you get down to it, if you're willing to see what's being revealed. Do you feel cared? Do you feel loved? Do you feel supported? Do you feel like this person and the people in your environment are helpful to you, want you to be yourself? Only you can decide for yourself. Yeah, oh yeah, I feel supported. I feel loved. Whew. Oh. All right. You're also leaving behind a bully, someone who's taking advantage of your unhealed wounds. It also looks like to be in this environment, maybe an environment you're leaving behind. What you're leaving behind is a lack of resources. Here you've been giving all your time and your energy, your care, your love, but you don't have anything to show for it. It's kind of what I'm getting, what I'm perceiving here. Nothing to show for it, but it doesn't feel like the people support you back. Not to the level that you're supporting them. Feels like it's hard for you to keep your fire, your inner fire. That you're not even sure what you want out of life, what excites you, because you've been busy uplifting others, doing for others. You kind of lost yourself in the sauce here. So it looks like you're leaving that behind. You're wanting to figure out, like, who am I? What do I want? All right. What's supporting you is the Five of Pentacles. No. How to get the most of this energy is the Five of Pentacles. Okay. How to get the most of this. This feels like a challenging time, change. Feels like it would, if you act on what I've been talking about, it's huge change in the physical, in the 3D. You might have to change where you live. It feels like huge changes. If you're willing to stop, if you're like willing to see what you've before not been willing to bring into the light of your consciousness, because if you do, then you have to ring that bell that you can't unring. You'll see things and see people and see yourself, and if you want something to shift, once you become aware, then changes need to be made in the 3D. Feels very doable, but it feels like a lot. I think it's uncomfortable change is what I'm getting. A lot of, it's a challenge, devil energy, to let go of these toxic energies, trauma bonds, codependency. Feels like it's a process that will take time. It's interesting because I'm getting this image of, like, for you to go after and become the version of yourself that you prefer and have the life you prefer. It's it's going to create change. There's some structure that you're in, a hierarchy, and it feels like you're a support person. And if you leave, then that structure, I don't feel like the people perceive or value your contribution. But they will feel it for sure. If you detach from this energy and no longer connect with people in this devil energy. Yeah, that just feels facing your fears, taking one step at a time. Once you decide to make that change, then it's difficult and it takes some time to shift, to deconstruct, to deprogram, to realize what's really been going on. It's a process. If you're trying to see everything while you're still in the environment, that's it. If you're trying to, once I see everything and I analyze everything, then I'll make the change. It feels like that's backwards. Once I recognize, oh, this is not what, okay, I need to take care of myself, keep my own counsel, maybe get an attorney, make sure my interests are taken care of. I need to take care of myself. Put myself, decenter this person and center myself. Detach, heal from this. Therapy, trauma therapy, codependency, healing from codependency therapy, so you can move on, so you can make foundational choices for yourself. All right, what's supporting you is the Two of Cups. What I often see the Two of Cups as you and your higher self. Instead of connecting and needing love and support here horizontally with the people around you, once you start connecting with your higher self, you from a vantage point where you're looking down, there's an aspect of you that's much broader. That's you. So you want success for you. You is cheering you on. So when you connect and start relating more vertically, ground into this reality, ground into the core of Earth, this is where, so you're not in fantasy and delusion, so you're present and you're connected with your higher self. The more you relate this way, the more you learn to trust yourself, and you don't have to trust the people in your environment because you trust yourself. You're not going to give your power of decisions away to anyone else. The buck stops here with you. Looks like that's what's supporting you when you love yourself enough to make decisions from that vantage point. And it'll take time to alchemize. Patience as you process through this and become the version of yourself that you prefer. And there's definitely people here that want you to go back and not be connected with yourself, to listen to how they're perceiving you and act according. This feels like control. Someone is able to what is this? Feels like someone's able a lot of times to come in and just quickly just upset you. The more you connect vertically, as I'm talking about, the more happy you are, the more clarity coming in, the more things make sense. Instead of this person and the delusions and illusions and false that haven't really made sense. Okay. Some of you are looking for love. After this connection, what I'm getting is, of course, there are plenty of lovers out there for you to love. It looks like right now choosing yourself first, finding your freedom, your independence in that Nine of Pentacles. Once you have this independence, once you've learned how to train your focus, she's focusing on the bird that's on her hand. By learning how to train her focus on what she wants to create for herself, she has created luxury, abundance, fertility, independence. She can do whatever she wants. So what I'm getting here is, it feels like a message. It feels like someone who's inside a codependent relationship that's ending. And immediately from your woundedness, from an unhealed version, you're like, I need someone else. But that's the wounding. That's, I need to be part of a codependent team. I need someone horizontally to tell me I'm okay. So what I'm talking about, connecting vertically, creates a very different relationship than with the people in your environment. Then you can love them where they are. You don't need them to somehow fulfill you, uplift you. And so the relationship with the people in your environment become less of need-based, and you need them for something, and becomes more connection and cooperation and understanding with the people here, instead of need-based. I need them. I need. Because when you need someone, when you've got an unhealed wound, then that need creates an opportunity for someone to come in and take advantage of your maladaptive strategies of how you take care of your needs, which isn't getting to the core and root of healing that issue and that need, but instead kind of placating it. I hope this person's nicer. But instead, if you don't need someone, if you can find your own independence, then your relationships stop being need-based and be based on joy. We have so much in common, and I really enjoy being with this person, and I love being around this person, and it's okay if it doesn't work out, because I'm okay being alone. And so that abandonment wound isn't screaming loudly, I need someone, I can't be alone. So that's what I'm getting here off of what's supporting you. Finding independence, finding your own energy, healing from those wounds. All right, moving on. What to be mindful of is the Hermit. I think some of you are afraid to be alone. Like I was just saying, it looks like the willingness to go on a journey by yourself, being a lone wolf, leads to enlightenment. It's a difficult journey, not gonna lie. It's not for the timid, but you learn who you are when the rubber meets the road, when you're by yourself, when you've got to make decisions for yourself. Feels like quick growth, expansion, figuring yourself out. I think part of, it looks like you, whoever this reading is for, you really want to manifest consciously with the Magician. Create the version of yourself that you prefer and have the life that you prefer to live. And it feels very doable to have that. However, it feels like you need to get everybody out of your energy. You got to see what you're made of. Find who you are now. Wow. Take some leadership. It feels like taking the lead. Emperor energy. These are core issues. It's going to take some time because it feels like you are recreating a whole different version of yourself that's been hiding in your unconscious. And with the moon reverse, it's coming to light. I don't like where I'm at. I really prefer to be someone else that I've never allowed myself. I've never given myself permission to be this version of me. Well, no one's going to come in and rescue you and let you be that. You've got to make the choice to do that. It's got to come from inside the house, and you've got to decide, I'm going to start becoming the version of me that I prefer. It doesn't feel like, it feels like when you're around this person or people who are taking advantage of your needs, unmet needs, that you're not really in your attunement. Feels like you're, what should I do, which is kind of out here looking for others to tell you what you should do instead of connecting again vertically and finding who you are. Ground into the universe, ground into earth, in this reality, getting out of delusional or projections, and see things clearly. Nice. There's a level of immaturity when you've been stuck in, I think I was bringing this up earlier in the overall energy. When you've been in this type of connection with someone who doesn't operate in good faith, they're taking advantage of you and your lack of maturity, because this person's immature too. So it feels like there's some wounds, some healing. There's some steps to becoming mature, emotionally mature, learning how to sit with your emotions, a lot of uncomfortable emotions. It feels like you might have like a well of rage, resentment, frustration, not being heard. And it feels like that energy keeps rising and wanting to come out and it feels like this person and people like this who take advantage of this type of wounding make you feel guilty or ashamed for having anger, having resentment. But the thing is, anger, resentment, those are beautiful energies that are trying to rise up in your space to say, I don't like being treated like this. This is a boundary. This I do not like. It's like your solar plexus is on fire trying to say, I'm furious. I've had it. And it feels like people have made you feel ashamed for having anger and frustration. And so you push it back down. But it looks like it's coming up to be felt, to be processed, to be dealt with. So you can make different choices. It looks like there's new opportunities coming in. And if you get yourself out of that hanged man position and stop giving to others and start following your highest excitement. When you start following your highest excitement, tuning into your own energy, finding out wherever you are and be present. As you start making moves, start letting go of old environments, then more and more clarity is going to come in. If you're wanting, I have to see it all first before I make a move, then that's not how it works. The more you move away and create separation from this environment, the more clarity that comes in, the more separation, and the more you can become yourself. So, all right. I'm going to end the reading here and going to do an extended reading. So I'm halfway through the reading. I'll be looking at in part 2 health, relationships, creativity, new opportunities, and career and finance. So if that sounds like something you'd like to continue on, there's a link in the description box below. It says extended reading here. Click on that link. It takes you right to part 2 on Patreon. So I'll see you over there. Have a great rest of your day.